Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Victor Melcher, and today we're going to be talking about some BMPCC4K essentials. So quick disclaimer, you can shoot with just the camera, the lens, and a couple batteries, and some people even prefer to shoot that way just because it's a smaller and lighter setup. But in my preference, when this camera's rigged out just a little bit, it definitely excels. So yeah, let's get into it. So first off, we're going to start with the lenses. And for lens choice, you can adapt whatever lenses you want to this camera, or you can shoot with native lenses. And I just prefer to use native lenses just because I like that I don't have to deal with speed boosters or adapters. I can just mount it straight to the camera. It's just my preference. So I'm actually shooting with the Lumix 12-35 and the Blackmagic 8mm. So these two lenses alone are perfect for my workflow. They give me all the focal lengths I need. I have anywhere from 8mm to 35. And on the Blackmagic, since it's a smaller sensor, the 8 is 16, and the 12-35 is a 24 to 70mm equivalent. So let's start off with the 12-35. Pretty much all my work consists of me running around as a one-man band, a lot of run and gun stuff, whether that be for spec ads, mini doc type work, weddings, real estate videos. I'm constantly running around just trying to get shots I can as quick as I can. So this lens is like perfect for me. At 12, it gives me a nice wide focal length. I love the characteristics, and I can also zoom in for 35 when I want those detailed shots and I want some separation from the background. It does feel a little bit on the cheaper end, but I'm not really too concerned about that because I like the image and I like the convenience of it. And the focus is a focus by wire, and some people hate that, which I understand, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad. It also has image stabilization, which works pretty good, but if you're bouncing around a little too much, you'll literally see the image shifting. And I love the image quality, but sometimes it can look just a tad too digital. So I actually use a Tiffin Black Promise 1/8 on it, and I guess I'll add in. I'm also using a Gobe variable ND. It's not the best variable ND. It's more on the affordable end, but it works for me, and I've used it for like the past 3 years. And also the Blackmagic 8mm. This lens is amazing and also really affordable. You can get it for $150. That's pretty cheap for an ultra wide angle lens. So this is a lens that I use for all my establishing shots, or just shots that I really want to get right up close and personal to my subject or to the object that I'm filming. It's also rectilinear, so you get pretty much zero distortion around the edges. So if you're filming buildings or real estate and you don't want the edges distorted, this is definitely a great lens for you. I also filmed majority of the Moxie roller skate spec ads with this lens just because I did want that like classic skate fisheye look, and it honestly looked great. It does have some crazy lens flares, which can work out if you're looking for a more stylized look, but if you're doing any type of like corporate work that looks better with a cleaner lens, this might not be the best one. The flares can be just a little too much sometimes. The vignetting isn't too bad, but it still is a little bit. So usually when I do shoot with it, I'll crop in just a tad on my shots just to get rid of that. But yeah, these are my two like main workhorse lenses I'm using like literally 100% of the time. I love them. If you do a lot of run and gun work like I do, they'll be perfect. All right, and now onto batteries. So for batteries, I'm using the Core SWX Powerbase Edge. And this is a great battery, and this was specifically designed for the BMPCC4K and 6K, so it actually has a little quick release plate that you just screw onto the bottom of the camera, and you can just lock it on and off, which I love. And on a full charge, it lasts just under 3 hours. But if you're not continuously shooting and you're taking breaks in between scenes and turning your camera on and off, it'll last a little bit closer to 4, which is great. Most of the time this will be more than enough, but I'll also bring a couple LPE6 batteries, and they'll last like 45 to an hour, depending on if you're turning it on and off. But for me, I'll always use this one first, just because with these, the battery just depletes so quick that it just gets me nervous. As I'm filming with these, I'm watching the percentage go down by the minute, and that just kind of makes me feel like I need to rush my shots, which I don't really like. So yeah, this is always my first choice. I'll always start shooting with this one, and then if that one dies, I'll bring like 4 LPE6 batteries with me, and I'll start shooting with those as backups. And I like how you can just mount it directly underneath the camera, because I have seen some where you have a giant V-mount battery behind the camera and it's kind of blocking the screen, which I just didn't really like. So it fits great into my workflow because it's fairly small and light, and I haven't used it before, but if you are in a pinch, you can actually use it to charge your phone as well. All right, and now for the cage. So for that, I'm working with a small rig half cage and also a small rig NATO top handle. So I picked the half cage over the full cage just because I kind of have small hands, and I feel like I would just get annoyed holding the grip and feeling like the metal around it. It just seemed a little bit too clunky for me, so I'm using the half cage, and it has the 2 mounts I need, which are the NATO rail for the top handle and also the cold shoe for my shotgun mic. And I really love using this NATO rail top handle just because it's so easy to take off. I just unscrew it and slide it off. So when I'm switching in between shooting handheld and throwing it on the gimbal, all I do is just unscrew this, take this off, take my mic off, and I'm ready to go. Now the monitor I'm using is the Small HD Focus 5, and they've actually discontinued it, but I'd recommend the Atomos Shinobi 5 because it's pretty similar to this one. Because the Blackmagic doesn't have a flip out or tiltable screen, this is kind of an essential thing. And I found myself needing low and high angles for a majority of my shoots. So this is definitely an accessory that I feel like should be one of your first investments when buying the BMPCC4K. And I always pretty much just mount it on the cold shoe of the top handle. And now for my mic, I'm using the Rode VideoMic NTG. So I mainly bought this mic so I can have really good scratch audio, so I can match it up with my lav mic, but I found that this mic actually sounds really great, really high quality, and I've actually used it on the past couple YouTube videos that I've shot recently. It's definitely not the cheapest shotgun mic that you can get, but it's definitely worth the investment, just because it gives me a greater peace of mind when I'm shooting any interview footage or anything that involves someone talking with a lavalier mic. If anything were to go wrong with the lav, I know I'll have good backup audio coming out of this one. Alright, and lastly for the memory, I'm using the SanDisk Extreme Pro 256GB. So I've been using these in the 128GB version since I bought the camera, and honestly I think they're the best bang for your buck. So I typically shoot ProRes 422 LT with these, and I'll shoot 24 frames, and for my slow-mo, I'll shoot 60 frames per second in high frame rate mode. And I haven't had any issues with them. I have shot regular ProRes 422, and 24 works fine, but if you shoot in the high frame rate mode at 60 frames per second, it'll record for 5 seconds and then it stops. If you are shooting regular ProRes 422 or ProRes HQ or any of the higher ends of the Blackmagic RAW, you might have to get a 300 megabit per second version, which is more expensive. But yeah, it just depends on what you like. So yeah, I usually get them from Sammy's Camera or B&H. I did buy a 128GB version off Amazon and I got a fake one. So just be careful if you're buying it off Amazon. Alright, and that about wraps it up for my BMPCC4K essentials. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below on any of these accessories. And yeah, I just want to say thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.